coming. He's coming.
It's so hard having to say no, but you have to go.
Yeah, at some point.
At some point, you gotta go, or else you'll be here literally all day long, bro. I hate breaking people's hearts. I can't hear myself.
Yeah, I just want you to know I can't hear Jordan. He can't hear me.
Wrestling is more than a sport. It's a journey from the fine story and transforming the show. It's a call to the presence of something. This is the existence. Together, we wrestle to the future.
Hello from Wrestling Country. We're coming to you live from the iconic Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. The stage is now set for Final X, where the best wrestlers in America put it all on the line. With World Team spots hanging in the balance, the stakes could not be higher. Winning wrestlers will earn the right to represent Team USA at the World Championships in September. I'm Christian Piles, and joining me today is a man who knows what it takes to win on this stage, 7-time world and Olympic champion Jordan Burroughs. Jordan, you have wrestled on this stage before. What type of fortitude does it take to win not one, but 2 matches here at Final X?
Big. You know, we think about the average tournament is 4 different opponents, 4 matches. You really don't get a lot of time to prepare. It's different at Final X. You get 1 guy, 3 matches potentially, and you get a month to prepare for this guy. So better strategy, better tactics. Essentially, we're hoping for some more exciting matches this evening.
Absolutely, the best of the best on display here. And looking at this first half of matchups, which bout in particular has caught your eye, Jordan?
Yeah, PRTC, former athlete, Joey McKenna. He was my teammate for 4 years, now wrestling out in Stillwater, Oklahoma. You know, he's been in the World Team Finals, he's been in the Olympic Trials Finals, NCAA Finals, and finished 2nd place at each one of those places. I'm hoping that he can finally get the monkey off his back against a relatively inexperienced but very game opponent.
Yep, very game opponent in Real Woods, and that's at 65 kilograms. And now we're all cannot wait to talk about the Zahid versus Dake matchup. But I want you to tell us a little bit about the challenge that Penn State phenom Luke Lildahl has against Olympic silver medalist Spencer Lee.
Well, Spencer Lee just doesn't lose often. He's 38-2 on the senior level. He's only got 2 losses, and those are both to world Olympic champions. You know, he's a guy that has been at this for a long time. 3-time NCAA champion, Olympic silver medalist. But how about Luke Lildahl? Lightning Luke, he's got 2 world championships of his own, and he's a guy that we've watched improve tremendously over the last year. I think he's going to be ready to go this evening.
And our main event, Kyle Dake versus Zahid Valencia, 2 wrestlers you are very, very familiar with. What is this series ultimately going to come down to, Jordan?
Man, it's going to be the guy who can impose their will on the opposite opponent. You know, Kyle Dake did a great job late in the match, really closing the gap, but ultimately, Zahid Valencia was able to manage his lead, got out to the takedown, duck under to a gut wrench right early in the match, and maintained that 4-point lead for the remainder of the match. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch as well.
No question. That's our last match, and this is going to be our first match. David Carr, Mitchell Messenbrink, at your old weight class, Jordan, what does David Carr need to do to reverse what happened at the U.S. Open against Mitchell Messenbrink?
Well, he's going to have to be a lot more disciplined. The great thing about Mitch Messenbrink is he knocks you off of your game. He gets you uncomfortable, forces you into bad shots, and as we see right there, points that it should only be 2 or 1, and you end up giving up 4, and all of a sudden the match gets out of control, and he's so great at creating pace and making you uncomfortable that it's hard to not concede that big lead.
Unbelievable pace, supernatural pace as you called it, Jordan Burroughs. Cannot wait to get started with 74 kilograms, David Carr versus Mitchell Messenbrink. Want to let you know, those of you that are watching our free preview live on YouTube, Facebook, or X, now is the time to join FloWrestling for a limited time only. If you sign up for an annual FloWrestling subscription, you can get a free FloWrestling t-shirt. Subscribe now and gear up for Final X. And the time is here. Round 1 of Final X coming up next.
Let's go!
Prudential Center, are you ready for some freestyle wrestling? Are you ready to crown our Team USA representatives for the World Championships coming up in Croatia? I don't believe you. Let's hear you, New Jersey. Let's hear you, New York. Let's hear you, Tri-State. This is Final X. And let's meet the competitors in men's freestyle at 74 kilograms. Wearing the red and representing the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club and Titan Mercury Wrestling Club, Mitchell Massenbrink.
His opponent in the blue of the Cyclone RTC Titan Mercury Wrestling Club, David Carr.
Both competitors at 74 kilograms have made their way to the mat. Jordan Mitchell versus Carr. It was 16-6 last time for Mitchell Massenbrink. What do you think we'll see in the early goings of this bout?
Well, look for Mitchell Massenbrink to get to that lefty collar tie. It's been a staple of his offense, but not only the collar tie, it's controlling the wrist on the opposite side. He's got sweep single, he's got misdirection single, and he's also got that beautiful inside pick single. I think he's gonna try to be aggressive right away, landing that collar tie early and setting the tone.
And then David Carr, you spent some time training with David. How did he look in training there with you?
He felt great. You know, I told him, Mitch Massenbrink isn't one of those guys you're going to be able to hold off for an entire 6 minutes. You're going to have to go out there and score points. And in order for you to uphold your stamina and your conditioning, you're going to have to be able to deflect and be elusive from pressure, but also sting him when you can. He was able to get to his legs early, put points on the board. Offensively, I think he can do it again tonight.
And we're about to find out as the ref has taken the center of the mat. This will be match number 1. Of course, you got to win 2 out of 3 to make the world team here. Winners here. If you win 2, you represent Team USA in Zagreb, Croatia in September. Handshake, and we are underway. Mitchell Massenbrink in the red, David Carr in the blue, and there's that single leg right away attempt from Mitchell Massenbrink.
And David bringing heavy hands of his own. You know, we talked about David keeping his hands at home, being disciplined. Notice when he's in the open how tight his elbows are into his body. He wants to make sure he doesn't reach, and it's proven effective so far.
Followed by Penn State University's 22-three-time high school
Stutter fakes, some more motion here from Mitchell Massenbrink, who lunges towards Carr. He's got that left hand set for time being, now dragging to the other way. Good down block there by David Carr.
3 times he's been at the top
Carr
of the podium.
will be warned for passivity first.
I thought he was going to be warned for those heavy gloves. He'd been throwing some haymakers early in the match. You know, I think one of the things about Mitchell that we don't talk about enough is how elusive his head is. Watch when David reaches or tries to throw a club. He can move and sway just like a boxer. It's really hard to land on his neck and for a collar tie.
David Carr out of Canton, Ohio. He's 26 years old.
And looking for that drag to the other side. He's not favored that single leg yet. A couple times he's looked for that drag to David's left leg. And there is the second warning of passivity against David Carr. He's going on the shot clock. How hard should he work to avoid giving up the point?
I think you want to be wise here. You know, it's so early in the match that 1 point won't kill you, but if you go out and exhaust yourself and get scored on, all of a sudden you're looking at a big deficit, because you don't only give up the takedown, but you also give up the additional penalty point.
10 10 seconds left in the shot clock, or Mitchell Messenbrink will earn that point. He fires a single leg, nothing there though. Good snap and run to the other side now is David Carr trying to lift. He's got his head trying to come up, far ankle for Mitchell Messenbrink. What's Carr need to do here?
And look, he pops out the back door. We always have a saying is high head wins, right? Coming out the back door, lifting the feet.
Now ankle to ankle, going to be tougher for either guy to score as that shot clock point goes up for Messenbrink. 1-0 for Mitchell, but a good attack from David Carr.
Yeah, and he's proven that he can get to Mitchell's legs. I think the difficulty is just finishing. That's energy from the well that he didn't get rewarded for on the scoreboard. We'll see how it happens the rest of the match.
Standing in the middle of the match, there's another leg attack there from David Carr. Messenbrink able to circle out of it. And now it's Mitchell that's going to get one for passivity. His first warning. They'll typically do this if there's no points going up on the board. And there's another single leg. This time pops his head to the outside, does Messenbrink.
And this is what we talk about here, Christian, is a few times at the US Open, David got caught draping over top, right? And Mitchell in those moments was able to get big, switch off the double, and land 4-pointers where it would otherwise be 2. Great defense there from Carr.
Good shot from Messenbrink, better defense from Carr as he fires another single leg, but this time very extended, hips on the mat, now trying to build up a little bit as Carr slips his head to the outside, trying to counter here is Messenbrink.
And look, this is a war of attrition right now. Both guys operating at a high level defensively. That looked like an exposure there.
And they end up going 2 from the judge and chair, so it will be 2 more for Messenbrink on the exposure. Jordan, 3-0 lead for Messenbrink as the first period comes to an end.
And Mitch is tricky with those leg curls, man. He's got that Winn-Dixie, that Jason Nolf-esque feel, where you get to his legs, he can whip you over if you get out of position. And all you have to do is touch one hand, break 90. He was able to get another 2 points. That's big going into the second period.
What's the message to David Carr going into the second period?
Well, I don't think he wrestled poorly. He got to the legs a few times. He just wasn't able to finish. And the one time he got exposed, I think he's going to have to continue to wrestle, circle hard or get big once he actually gets up and into the shot. He can no longer stop on his knees.
Casey Cunningham, Jake Varner, Olympic champion in the corner for Messenbrink. Brent Metcalf, Nate Carr Sr. in the corner for David. As the second period now underway. More fakes from Mitchell Messenbrink, catching the hands. Fakes towards that left-handed single leg that Messenbrink loves to fire.
And so he's got an unorthodox style. Look at his rhythm. He leads righty, and then look, he'll switch back to being lefty. So it's really hard to time and track his movements, as well as having quality head movement. Look, every time David goes for a head post, thumb block, or a collar tie, Mitch is able to slip it.
Messenbrink continuing to crowd. He is holding center. Another attack there.
2 more.
Well defended so far from David Carr. He's got a head pinch, now comes out of it. And all square here in the middle of the match. Still a 3-0 lead for Mitchell Messenbrink. 2 minutes to go.
And David's gonna have to pick up his pace here, right? He's not being the aggressor.
Re-attacks there, in on a single leg. Now standing with it is David Carr, trying to step behind the foot. He catches the foot. Can he get the leg lace?
He's got the leg lace. This is where he's been good. He was able to catch Mitch here in the final of the Open. As Tekatani, the Olympic silver medalist at the match earlier this year. Great defense by Mitch Messenbrink. Big time defense.
How much of that is technical and how much of that is grit, just fighting off a leg lace like that?
You know, I've been in a position a couple of times where I'm like, man, I'm going to break my leg today before I give up this leg lace, because you know, in a match like this where it's so tightly contested, if every point matters. And you know, it's also taken energy from David to try to go ahead and finish with that parterre offense. I think Mitch Messenbrink did a great job defensively, but if you're Carr, you've got to be feeling the momentum shifting a little bit at this moment. You're feeling good about where you are. 1 point match, you know, 1.5 to 2 minutes left in the matchup. I like where he's at right now.
And a reminder, no ties in freestyle wrestling. Someone is always leading. So if Carr was able to get 1 point and make it 3-3, he would have the lead via last score criteria. So the narrowest of leads here for Mitchell Messenbrink.
You know what's going to be interesting here, Christian, is to see who comes out the most active after this break. You know, Mitch has got warned once. David's already been on the clock, and so whoever comes out and is the aggressor in this next 30 seconds or so will likely get put on a shot clock, and that could be a big point in the remainder of this match.
No question about it, as they tend to Messenbrink, because he was bleeding on his face somewhere. And what was interesting, that Carr takedown, a re-attack, not something David Carr's necessarily known for. It's the initial shot from Messenbrink, and it's Carr getting in on single leg. How's he able to finish this so well?
Well, does a good job bringing his inside leg up. Notice, nice tight grip, locked well, rebuild, stands up to his feet, and then just runs the hips down.
There you see the grip from Messenbrink to not give up that leg lace. As we can see, they're tending to that forehead of Mitchell, getting another layer of wrap there. So 1:39 to go here in the second period. Pawn at the head, and their stutter fake. David Carr in again, looks head outside, well defended again by Mitchell Messenbrink. More fakes from Mitchell Messenbrink as he goes left then right, not there. Carr staying at home pretty well, not overreacting to the fakes from Mitchell.
Well, interesting strategy here if you're Mitchell. We typically see him with his foot always on the gas. He's not a guy that typically is going to try to manage a lead. He's always trying to put points on the board. You see him, he's giving up a little bit of ground here, circling on the outside of the circle. Another single leg, he gets to it.
Nothing yet.
Now he's got to be careful. He'll notice he gets this one up off the mat.
Carr in great position to finish here, trying to win moment. That's two more. Carr into the lead, 4-3. Looking for the lace.
And looking for the leg lace here. And wisdom would show you, Christian, even if you can't get a score, you have to make it, in the eyes of the referee, look like you're trying to score. I think the more action you have from top, the more time you spend on the mat. 30 seconds, let's see what David's lead management looks like.
1 point lead, but Mitchell Messenbrink is going to have to get to 5 points because Carr has 2 twos. Left then right, chasing that leg, hustling hard as Mitchell Messenbrink. Good head position here for David Carr as he can defend, holding that armpit with his left hand. 17 seconds to go. Messenbrink nearly in, defended by Carr in the zone.
And Messenbrink relentless with his pressure here. And David doing a good job with his head and hands. He's got to stay down. Wise, that's a grounded call there.
And grounded offered, and that is indeed the call, Jordan. It's going to remain 4-3, 4 seconds to go. Carr's got to hang on.
Messenbrink needs a rolling start here. He's going to have to shoot right away. And David, again, with the head and hands defense. Beautiful match.
We start the day with an upset, Jordan. David Carr, a 4-3 winner over Mitchell Messenbrink.
And Messenbrink is laboring a little more than we've seen him do in the past. Look at his mouth's open. He's breathing a little bit harder. Maybe the weight cut got to him. Otherwise, it was a beautifully strategized match from the Carr team.
No question about it, as we see David Carr take match number 1. And it was something we thought was possible. You see a 16-6, you think, oh wow, big trouble for David Carr. But what you saw were a lot of correctable mistakes, and it seems he cleaned up a lot of those issues.
Yeah, we sat down and watched the video quite a bit, and this is the position that he cost himself early. Really, if we think about the one time that Mitch was able to score in this match was counter offense, right? He hit him with a kind of a leg tip or a leg whip to score his points. Otherwise, he only got a single point, which was off of a shot clock. So no offensive points for Mitch Messenbrink, in which their last matchup, he scored 16. You've got to be feeling really confident if you're David Carr going into the second match.
Yeah, did a great job defensively. If you only give up 3 points to Mitchell Messenbrink, you didn't just wrestle well offensively. You had a great positional and defensive game plan, and that's exactly what David Carr brought to the table in match 1. What a start for David Carr. And coming up next, Evan Wick, Levi Haynes, 79 kilograms when we come back.
Over here on women's freestyle. Let's in Zagreb, Croatia. Let's do a little geography lesson for you. Croatia became an independent country in 1991 following the breakup of the former Yugoslav Republic. So if you've never heard of Yugoslavia, turn and ask your parents. They've heard of it. Other things to know about Yugoslavia, or what used to be Yugoslavia, Croatia. Tripped myself up there. 3.8 million people live in Croatia. Zagreb is the capital city. We'll be at Arena Zagreb. Also, the thing to know by comparison, New Jersey's population is 9.5 million. So New Jersey almost 3 times as big as Croatia. One thing I will say about Zagreb, they love their wrestling, they love their food. I'd recommend getting out there. We got more wrestling coming up.
We started with your original weight class. Now we're moving up to 79 kilograms, a weight where you're also a world champion, Jordan. We're going to have Evan Wick taking on Levi Haynes.
Yeah, Wick's been one of those guys. He's been around for a long time. You talk about experience. He's one of those guys. It may not be reflected in the amount of matches that he's wrestled, but he's really a veteran in this sport. You know, the last time they wrestled was at the World Team Trials in Omaha, Nebraska, back in the fall of 2024. And it was an extremely close match before Levi Haynes ended up winning with a fall. But, you know, Evan Wick is one of those guys who's been around for a long time, very disciplined. He's got well coached by John Azevedo. But Levi Haynes, he's just got the pedigree. You know, he's a Nittany Lion. He's already been an NCAA champion multiple times. He's a guy that has been around, and, you know, it's just exciting to watch him grow.
Of course, you wrestled Levi at that tournament in Omaha. What kind of physicality does Levi bring to the table?
His hands are so extremely heavy. Like when I wrestled him, I just watched him win an NCAA championship at 157 a year ago. I'm like, this guy is a baby. He's way too small for me until he got his hands on me. I'm like, damn, this guy's much stronger than I expected. So just very physical, still young. Growing into his frame, but I mean, look at him. He's rocked up. He's big. He's strong, and he's a guy that's a competitor. He's wrestling in a room every single day with Messenbrink and Starachi and all of these amazing wrestlers that they have in State College. So he's a guy that you have to be careful for.
Taking a look at the tail of the tape there. 7-year difference. You mentioned Levi Haynes is young, but he's certainly ready for this moment.
How about that 6'3"? My goodness, he might be the tallest guy in this card.
He could be.
And only wrestling at 174 pounds.
We'll have to have he and Zillmer go back to back and see. And now we are underway at 79 kilograms in the gold and red. That's Evan Wick, and in the blue, Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, Levi Haynes.
What Evan Wick does well is he absorbs attacks. And he's just so long. He's got so much range. He's the guy that he can pick your ankle from really any position when you think you're out of reach. You know, he's go-go gadget arms, extension, and really just can absorb attacks really well.
Hand fighting early, both fighting for position. Some fakes there from Levi Haynes as he maybe gonna look for that single leg. But really, this is the shot he wants, a head outside, high crotch Jordan. Tough position here for Evan Wick. Is he gonna be able to defend?
And look at that. That's definitely a 2-point exposure right there.
Could be more.
Falls right down into the lace. And this is where we talk about not only the power, but the savviness of Levi Haynes, well beyond his years. And look at how he adjusts there. He goes from lace to crackdown, back to lace, and look at him run that thing up.
Could be big trouble here. Laces in matches, Jordan. He's got the turn, he's got the lace. Knees are together, 2 more.
That thing's tight, too. That thing's tight. It's going to be hard to defend.
Should be another 2
Another
there.
2. He needs 1 more to finish this match off.
Levi Haynes is a turn away from ending this one. Can he get it?
And look at how wise Wick is. He won't go back to his belly. He knows he has to get back to a defensible position in order to give up an additional 2. He stayed exposed there and was able to get back to his belly.
Great start for Levi Haines. Got to that high crotch. Not exactly the textbook position, but he was able to finish so well and transition to 6 more points off the leg lace. Evan Wick goes one way, then the other. Stopped by Levi Haines. He's in that front headlock. Elbow controlled there by Evan Wick.
Yeah, and if you're Wick here, you gotta get going, but you also have to, you understand that points can be scored in bunches here, right? You don't have to go for broke right away. You can continue to look for leg attacks, be disciplined with your hands. One takedown to a series of turns could put you right back into this match quickly.
No doubt about it. Elbow control there on the right side for Wick. For Evan, he was able to score off some re-attacks and counter scores off of Levi's leg attacks, particularly when Levi fired that single leg. You wonder if Levi will go there and stick with his high crotch. He's in again, doubled off.
Look at him go. Puts the stamp on it. What a finish.
Takedown for Levi Haines will end it. It's a 10-0 first period tech for the Nittany Lion. He's a match away from his first world team.
Beautiful wrestling. Beautiful wrestling. You know, he reminds me of Alex Nieringer, who was a guy who was in this position for a multitude of years, but was just unable to beat the better guys, Kyle Dake, myself. And, you know, Levi Haines, very physical, but good prowess. He's got the championship pedigree. I'm excited to see what he can do at this stage.
And not to mention the curly locks, too. He's got that like Ringer as well.
And he's got the curly hair, and he puts his face in your grill. I tell you what, when he shoots, he means business. Look at this transition into the lace. These guys have been wrestling freestyle for a long time, and so look at how savvy he is. He continues to drive his feet. He's got his head buried. He brings his right hand to collect and gather both legs.
You see the look on Wick's face. It's a painful position to be in. Very tough to fight when your knees are together, when they have your ankles crossed. And he was able to avoid the turn that would have ended it, but ultimately, Levi Haines, too much offense here.
And just too much tenacity. I mean, just look at him go. He's like, Kyle Dake's gone, Jordan Burroughs is gone. I want to make sure that I'm the guy that fills in this role. I'm up next, and finishes with the stamp. Big double leg to the lift, puts him down, wins match 1.
And we want to remind everyone that Fargo is right around the corner. The 16U and Junior National Championships presented by USA Wrestling. They'll be streamed live on FloWrestling July 11th through the 19th. Go to FloWrestling.com for our full schedule, preview content, and more. And coming up next, the big boys, 125 kilograms, Wyatt Hendrickson, Trent Hilger, when we come back.
Men's freestyle, 125 kilograms, wearing the red, representing the Cowboy RTC and Air Force W Cap, Wyatt Hendrickson.
His opponent, representing the Gopher Wrestling Club, Titan Mercury Wrestling Club, Trent Hilger.
Heavyweights on the mat here, Jordan. Wyatt Hendrickson, Trent Hilger. You were there mat side when Wyatt pulled off the upset, taking out Gable Steveson, Olympic champion. What was that moment like?
I still feel the buzz from the electricity in the arena at that very moment. It was something that we thought was unbelievable. Literally, we talked about most competitive matches of that day, and this is with complete and total respect for Wyatt and everything he's done in his career, but no one in that arena thought it was possible except the coaches in the Oklahoma State corner and Wyatt himself, and he still probably had a little bit of doubt about whether he was capable or not. Oh man, what an amazing moment.
Incredible. As we take a look at that tail of the tape, Trent Hilger on the right, more of a seasoned vet, an All-American for Wisconsin, now training at Minnesota, and Wyatt Hendrickson, formerly of Air Force, now in Stillwater with the Cowboy RTC, set working to make his first senior level world team as they come to the center of the mat. Handshake, and we are underway here. 125 kilograms in the red, Wyatt Hendrickson, and in the gray and blue, and it's a high cross right away from Wyatt, trying to finish, and he's got two. Well, four offered, and it's gonna be two on the takedown. Here comes the gut.
And he's driving his feet, looking to break the plane of that right arm.
Couldn't quite get the turn there, but a quick strike there from Wyatt Hendrickson, jumping out, setting the tone early.
And fast and furious. You know, you typically don't see heavyweights hitting knees often. Not a lot of penetration steps when you weigh 265 pounds, but this was what he was able to use against Gable Steveson. He got to the leg deep. Gable fed him hips, stuffed head, big giant sprawl, but he was able to go shot recovery, get big and finish that shot. That's one of the staples of Hendrickson. He is not afraid to shoot and go underneath of the heavyweight opponent.
And a good adjustment there from Trent Hilger. When they wrestled at the US Open, Wyatt was able to get the takedown and a series of gut wrenches, which really put the match out of reach for Hilger. Able to defend at least that series of gut wrenches from Wyatt.
And we're seeing a little bit of a changing of the guard at this weight class. We had guys for a long time, and look at the high C again, down to the crackdown position, looking to scoop that right leg and shelf it on his outside knee, rocking him back, and look, he eliminates the chest lock.
Great position here for Wyatt, and he's going to add 2 more, making it 4-0, as he's going to try to work for a gut wrench again. Lower gut here on that left side. And then he sticks to that left side and gets the gut wrench. Now back to the right, working both sides is Wyatt Hendrickson. It's 8-0, he is a turn away, can he get it? Working to the right, and he gets it. Wyatt Hendrickson, 10-0 over Trent Hilger.
What a beast. I was in Stillwater just a few weeks ago, and I was hoping to see him. He had actually just gotten eloped. He was away on his honeymoon with his new wife, and now just a few weeks later, he's getting a tech ball in the very first match, 10-0, making it look easy.
Wyatt's done a lot of winning this last month and change. And there he is, a match away from making his first world team. And, you know, he was pretty dominant with that 10-4 win at the US Open. What kind of doubt does a win like that plant in the mind of Trent Hilger to go from 10-4 to a 10-0?
Yeah, you know, I think that Wyatt Hendrickson's one of those guys, he's just riding the wave right now. You look at him, he's Captain America now. He's got on the American flag, stars and stripes on his shoes. You know, he's getting love in a new city like Stillwater with just a lot of knowledge and minds in the room, and he really believes in himself. He's been on the cusp for a long time, but he's been behind guys like Mason Paris, Gable Steveson, Greg Kirkfleet, and guys also like Nick Gwizdowski. We've had a lot of history at this weight class, but it's his time, and he's really ready to take over this new role as the big man on Team USA.
And how big of a difference on the world stage can having a parterre game like Wyatt has?
It's big time. You know, most of the guys, there's a percentage or a stat that says, I believe 80% of the matches in which the guy gets a turn, he ultimately goes on to win that match. And so it's big time, not only to score takedowns, but also to have great parterre offense.
Wrestling fans, this is for you. Access every match ranking and exclusive content with your FloWrestling annual subscription. Whether you're following high school, college, or freestyle, FloWrestling has you covered with live events, interviews, and more. Don't miss a single moment of the action, only on FloWrestling. And when we come back, 92 kilograms, Trent Hidley versus Josh Barr. When we come back.
Passivity winning on Taylor. That is her first.
Men's Freestyle, 92 kilograms. Wearing the red and representing the Wolfpack Wrestling Club and Titan Mercury, Trent Hidley.
His opponent in the blue of the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, Titan Mercury, Josh Barr.
There you see Penn State NCAA finalist Josh Barr making his way to the mat where he's going to be taking on Trent Hidley. Very experienced freestyler. Both these guys trying to make their first senior level world team. Trent Hidley, the US Open champion. Barr, the winner at World Team Trials. Taking a look at the tail of the tape. Barr, 21 years of age, just finished his freshman campaign at Penn State. Trent Hidley, 26, graduate from NC State University along with his brother under the direction of Coach Pat Popolizio, one of the best in the business. Jordan, your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, both of these guys are very physically gifted. I would say that specimens in their own rights. Trent Hidley, known for his just movement, pressure, underhook to throw by. Really wrestles from an extremely low stance. Goes 3-point stance, digs underhook, and runs that thing down. Josh Barr, frantic pace, continues to put the heat on his opponents until they eventually break. But he's going to have a hard matchup
Jakara
here.
Winchester's.
And now we are underway here at 92, and it's Hidley pouncing right away in the red, and in the blue, that's Josh Barr. Going to that right-handed collar tie is Barr. We'll see how the hand fight goes here. You know Trent, you already mentioned it, Jordan, he's gonna wanna get into that underhook. Is it a key for Barr just to keep out of that position entirely?
Yeah, you know, you're going to try to stay inside, control elbows, control hands, be really disciplined with your stance. You know, Trent is really aggressive with the underhook, but it usually is thrown from the open. And so if you're disciplined and you don't really match his position by getting, you know, overzealous and reaching with your hands, I think he could do a really good job of defending here.
Barr gonna be warned for passivity, his first. 45 seconds in, 2 3-minute periods here in freestyle. Ear to ear they go as Barr drops down to that right knee. And that's considered passive action, and the official was indicating towards Barr as he clears that tie. Now trying to get his hands and feet moving is Josh Barr. And there you see that right-handed uppercut from Trent Hidley, trying to get to that underhook. Nice snap in motion here from Josh Barr.
And also look at the square stance of Trent, right? He's doing a really good job of holding center because he's got his heels dug into the mat and he's pressuring forward relentlessly. We often see it's not the guy who's being more aggressive who puts his opponent on a shot clock, but more so the guy who's controlling the center.
And with that, Josh Barr goes on the shot clock. He'll have 30 seconds to score. Nice snap there from Josh Barr. Snaps Hidley to his knees, can't follow it up. More fakes. Barr not been close. He's a guy that's known for his volume of leg attacks. Can attack both sides really well. And the point's gonna go up. Hidley striking first, 1-0 the lead. As he looks to pull that arm. Very calculated start here, Jordan.
Yeah, Hidley, he's doing a good job of just moving his feet, you know, controlling the pace. Look at his elbows are perpendicular with Barr's shoulder blades. He's making sure he keeps his hands at home. He hasn't really tried to throw the underhook much this match. Just more so trying to control the center and play the strategy game of getting him, put him on shot clock.
Now Hidley gets his first warning for passivity. There's that underhook. You see Barr dropping really low there under the threat of that underhook, Jordan.
And left hand on the wrist, right? Notice how he has it on the forearm. He's slowly pushing the underhook down, taking away leverage and control from Trent Hidley. Doing a really good job there.
Hard club there.
Man, gotta love it.
And that's going to do it for the first period. 1-0 for Trent Hidley. A little shove at the end. All right. Jordan, you've wrestled some great underhook wrestlers. Who are some that stand out for you, and what are the keys against those opponents?
Oh, man, elbows in, right? Red alert. Red alert. You have to make sure that your elbows maintain position and posture. You're looking to post inside bicep, inside of their elbows, and really just stay elusive. That means continuous footwork and good head position. You know, Barr, he comes from a great pedigree of champions. Davison, Michigan native, Paul Donahoe, Brent Metcalf, John Reeder, all national champions. And, you know, he wants to put himself on the map here. And he's got a really tough opponent in Trent Hidley. I think Barr, he's going to have to come out aggressive here. Whoever comes out with more aggression is going to put their opponent on the shot clock and go into the driver's seat.
And that's what we're seeing so far. Barr definitely set a tone there with some heavy hands and snaps, but it's this over-under position where Trent Hidley has scored so many points, and he tried to go for that pancake, drops the leg, now dragging, and it's going to be one on the step out for Hidley. He got to that over-under and was able to drive him towards the zone.
And what I saw that was unique there was he was going push-pull, right? So instead of just driving where Barr could lower his knee and hold position, he was going pressure, release, and just that element of putting him off balance was able to finally get to the drive to the push out.
So a pair of ones for Hidley has him up 2-0, 2:20 to go here in this match, as Josh Barr knows he's got to get busy here in that front head pinch situation. Now back down to the mat they go. Now grounded in the zone is Trent Hidley, and they're going to blow him back up 206. Back to the center they'll go.
We've seen a lot of fakes from Barr. We really haven't seen the attacks that we're used to and that we're expecting from him. You know, trying to get Hidley off balance, and he's reacting to the fakes, but he's got to send one. Sometimes a shot is the setup. It's not going to be open. It's not going to be a perfect shot. You're going to have to just go for it and look at the 2-on-1 there.
Hidley really used that pressure of Barr against him, almost getting that step out from that drag, but instead Barr does a great job recovering. It feels like he's got Hidley on his heels just a little bit here as he shoots him towards the zone once again.
And look at them change position there, bringing himself back to the center. That's nothing.
And one blue going to be offered, we'll see, and that is confirmed. 2-1 on the step out for Josh Barr. He is now a point away from taking the lead here, Jordan.
What I've seen from Barr here is the way he's defended this underhook, he almost turns his back to Trent. I haven't really seen that defense before. People usually dig their feet in and try to stand their opponent upright. He actually turns his back to him and tries to throw him by, almost like a matador.
Certainly Barr's put a lot of time working that over-under position, knowing the challenge before him with Trent Hidley. We're coming up on a minute to go. Underhooks there for Hidley. Barr drops to his knees, now back up, standing over-under.
He's got to be careful here.
And he tried it again, and this time Hidley drops in, and it's going to be 2 for Trent Hidley.
So that's a little bit of the lack of experience we see from Barr there. He went from double knee drop, right, to standing himself back up in the danger zone. That's not something that you typically see from a savvy veteran. You want to stay on your knees there, allow your opponent to drive you out, get grounded, and work your way back to the center. Fresh start, no points given up.
So now it's 4-1. Barr going to need a couple of scores here to get himself back in that match. Hidley sneaks a peek at the clock, which reads 32 seconds as they're back standing. And once again, Barr in that zone or towards it. As Barr's got that underhook on the right side as he marches Hidley back towards the zone. And they clear out of it, and Hidley will drop. Oof, shot, nice pancake. That's unbelievable, Jordan.
That was like running into a brick wall. My goodness. Blast double, perfect form, head in the chest, and he just absorbed it, redirected him, threw it by, and finished with an additional 2 points.
And now Hidley trying to get a little bit more as time's nearly expired. He gets that single leg. Gonna be white paddled, grounded. 6-1 to lead with 4 seconds. This one's all but over, Jordan.
Yeah, Trent Hidley's different, man. Look at him, he loves wrestling. It's getting a little chippy between them. Look at the clap, he's ready for it.
And 4 more seconds of hand fighting, and that's gonna do it. Round 1 goes to Trent Hidley.
Great match, both wrestlers. You know, I didn't see enough from Barr to look and say, okay, here's how we make adjustments here. He really just didn't take any shots. You got to relinquish some of your offense and let it fly a bit. You know, Trent, you can see he's riding the wave of momentum. He started getting stronger as the match progressed and started to get him out of position. Barr's got to take more chances and be a little bit more courageous this afternoon.
We'll take a look at some of those scores, and a lot of it was on that edge there, Jordan. That's how Trent got it started.
Watch here, he's in the danger zone, stands himself up, and then allows the throw by, pass by, there right to the ankle pick far side, and Trent wisely, tactically driving him out of bounds and trying to secure the 2 as opposed to just the 1. And watch this, double leg, boom! Catches him, underhook, throws him by, and finishes with an additional 2 and a little bit of a head stuff at the end just for some extra love.
It all leads to Zagreb, Croatia after today. You win Final X and you're in. Watch Team USA compete on the world stage at the 2025 Senior World Championships. Live on FloWrestling September 13th through 21. And when we come back, 97 kilograms, Kyle Snyder versus Hayden Zilmer.
Medalist Sarah Hildebrand and Beat the Streets New York Academy High School student athlete Joy Mori as they join us on the mat to share her story about Beat the Streets.
Good afternoon. My name is Joy Murray, and I'm a senior at Grover Cleveland High School in New York City. I started wrestling at 15, not knowing what to expect, only that it would be tough. After a frustrating first season, I was determined to grow and found Beat the Streets. From the start, I was surprised and inspired by the number of girls on the mat and the passion in the room. What stood out even more was how women's wrestling is not only growing within Beat the Streets, but across the country. It's an exciting time to be part of this movement. No matter where practices were held, Roosevelt Island, a basement, or now our own facility, the same dedicated athletes and coaches kept showing up. That consistency speaks volumes about the commitment of coaches Joe, Lenny, Bob, Brandon, and everyone behind the scenes. Wrestling opportunities can be rare in cities like mine, especially for kids facing difficult circumstances. But Beat the Streets changes the picture. We are given access, mentorship, and real community. We found positive role models and real support both on and off the mat. We can beat every odd. Thanks to Beat the Streets, I went from going 0-2 at the New York City Championships my first year to becoming a city champion and Outstanding Wrestler Award winner in the next. I've gotten to travel to compete, and recently I committed to wrestle in college at NJCU. These are things that once felt out of reach, but now seem like just the beginning for me, and I am so grateful. The work of Beat the Streets is necessary and impactful. It changed my life, and is changing the lives of so many others everywhere. This, of course, would not be possible without the generous donors who stand behind us. For this, I sincerely thank you. If my story resonates with you, and you want to impact future generations, then I urge you to donate tonight by using your phone to text 44321 or scanning the QR code you see on the screen above me. Thank you again for believing in us, investing in the future of wrestling, and in the next generation of young leaders. Thank you.
Thank you so, so much. Like she said, everybody, 44321. Text Final X to 44321 to help make a donation.
Is it my turn? Oh my gosh, this is loud. I'm Sarah Hildebrand. I just wanted to thank you guys for being out here tonight, supporting our senior level athletes on their way to making the world team to support and represent the United States of America in Croatia. So it's amazing wrestling still to come. But really, I just want to extend and celebrate Beat the Streets, NYC, and everything they do for wrestling. Everyone in here knows what wrestling has done for our own individual lives and the magic it adds, and just kind of what this pursuit in this sport does. It's life-changing, it's changed my own life, and we're just so grateful for Beat the Streets bringing that to more and more kids, more and more people. It grows the sport and it changes the world. So I just want to encourage and ask if we could support Beat the Streets NYC and making a donation by texting Final X to 44321 or scanning the QR code on the screen above. And thanks, guys. Enjoy the wrestling tonight. Go Team USA!
Thanks so much, Sarah.
Let's get back to the wrestling men's freestyle, 97 kilograms, wearing the red and representing Nittany Lion Wrestling Club and Titan Mercury, Kyle Snyder.
His opponent in the blue of the Gopher Wrestling Club, Titan Mercury Wrestling Club, Hayden Zilmer.
And we are back here for 97 kilograms. There you see Hayden Zilmer, and he has a task in front of him in the form of 97 kilograms. Kyle Snyder, Olympic champion, Olympic silver medalist, multiple world champion. Taking a look at the tail of the tape. What makes Kyle Snyder so good, Jordan?
My goodness, he's still only 29.
Crazy.
It's insane. It seems like he's been around forever. He's just relentless with his pace. He was one of the few guys I've ever seen while he was training almost die while training, right? He was willing to push himself to death to get into better shape. His fitness level is insane. His willpower is incredible, and I'm excited to watch him compete today. But how about Hayden Zilmer? He's a guy who lost his very first match at the US Open, dropped down to 97 kilos, and now he finds himself in Final X. He's been a guy that's already been on the world team, you know, seasoned veteran, and I think he's gonna provide a great matchup here this morning.
They're both ready to rock and roll, and here we go. 97 kilograms in the red, that's Kyle Snyder, and in the black and blue, that's Hayden Zilmer. Zilmer, as you mentioned, has made world teams in the past, up at 125 kilograms. Also made a national team down at 92 kilograms, and here in the middle, 97. There's, you see, a single leg attempt there from Kyle Snyder.
Kyle, he's got a different style. I haven't really seen him. He's standing a little bit more upright, right? His hands are a little higher. Look at him. He's kind of like peppering him with the wrist control and the shoulder blocks. He's usually a guy low stance, ankle fakes, good high C, pulling on your head. Hasn't really done that thus far. Maybe trying something different.
And first passivity warning going to go against Hayden Zilmer. Zilmer taking a little bit of ground. There's those fakes from Snyder. You've seen a lot of those over the years.
It looks like Snyder is almost baiting him into an attack. And like, hey, Hayden, here, if you want to start some action and create, here's a leg. And almost bait into it. Hayden's not taking the bait. Snyder doing a good job, weighing on the head. Here's the thing, Christian. Early in the match, if you're not going to score points, you want to continue to extract from his power meter. That means pulling on the head, controlling wrists, pushing him around, making him tighten his core, and really use energy that you can't really quantify on the scoreboard, but doing a good job working here.
Yeah, double underhooks and an easy step out there. At least he made it look easy for Kyle Snyder, striking first, now up 2-0 on the score. Let's see if that's actually right. I think it should be 1. There we go. I got confused. Yeah, that is a different sort of stance there. I don't know. I've never seen that. Watched Kyle wrestle a whole lot of matches over the years on every stage. Last year at the Olympics, the first time he has not medaled at a World or Olympic Championships. He's been on the team since 2015, never missed a team, and has medaled every year up until the Paris Olympic Games in 2024.
It's just been a staple of USA Wrestling for such a long period of time. It's a testament to, you know, just how hard he works, how disciplined he is with his training habits, and, you know, ultimately, you know, he's a guy that's willing to learn. We're talking about a unique style that he's displaying today. This late in his career shows you that he wants to educate himself and try to figure out ways to become a better wrestler even a decade in.
Continuing to pull on that head is Kyle Snyder. He's got a single leg to Hayden's left leg. Nice high crotch. Very good short offense when you attack him. Just a master of position. Now he's got that front headlock once again. And these are the kind of actions that can pay dividends in that second period, Jordan.
And what he's really doing a good job of here is he's standing Zilmer upright with his pressure, relentless fakes to get his feet back and his hips heavy. But then also, when he still starts to feel his hips go backward, he pulls on the head, captures front headlock. He's really just pressuring him relentlessly. If you're Zilmer, you're gonna have to find a way to get to a leg. And
beautiful pick there. Finishes with that double leg.
And that's some of the offense we're more traditionally used to seeing from Kyle, is lowering himself and getting to that attack.
And that's how he's gonna end that first period, 5-0. All Kyle Snyder Zillmer was not really close to any sort of offense there. Kyle really dictated that first period.
Yeah, and it's paid dividends for him. Early on in the match, just peppering him with lots of fakes, heavy head pulls, getting Zillmer to tighten his core, where now he really doesn't know, is he gonna pull on my head? Is he gonna shoot, snap me down? And then finally, you're able to relinquish some of those shots later after you've peppered him for so long, and it's hard to track.
Those low ankle attacks or something that became a hallmark of Snyder's style. They see him look for a snap down here. See if he can run around. Looks like he's trying to go to the left. Zillmer staying squared up pretty well, doing a good job short offense, but not out of the fight yet.
A nice chest wrap by Snyder. Look at him, hips engaged, trying to keep his glutes engaged here and just really hip pressure in. Using that right hand to pry into the thigh and maintain that chest wrap. Again, wearing on Zillmer, not scoring points, but paying dividends, taking energy.
Pawing at each other's head. See if Snyder fires another one of those ankle attacks. And those fakes are getting great reactions. Yeah, he's picking up his motion a lot more now as Kyle Snyder. Underhook on that right side. Good position there for Kyle. Towards the zone, he's gonna drive him straight out of bounds. Snyder, absolute powerhouse at this weight class.
And the fakes are being really effective for him. I like the style, you know, particularly for a guy like Zillmer. He's not known for being a guy who has great penetration steps or really a good shooter. So he's baiting him to shoot, but when he gets his fakes going, he makes it really hard for a guy to track his movement, just being extremely elusive and unpredictable.
Nice single leg there by Zillmer, but now extended and looking to drag is Kyle Snyder as they stand up. Snyder towards the zone, but does a great job. Once he gets to his feet, driving by himself a little bit of space, a minute 20 to go here in the second period. That was the best attack we've seen from Zillmer, but getting to the legs, just a small piece of the puzzle for scoring on Kyle Snyder. Double leg there, caught by Zillmer, but he comes up with an underhook as Kyle Snyder drives him towards the zone, looking for one, maybe two. What's the call? Two. Takedown for Kyle Snyder on that go behind.
And just really smart. I wouldn't call this a frantic pace, just really steady, methodical, you know, good quality fakes. Picking him apart from 3 different angles. He's pulling on the head, he's faking well, and then he's releasing his shots. And even when he misses, he builds up the body, gets to an underhook, looks for the push out.
Underhook on that left side, now cleared out. And as you mentioned, Jordan, Kyle still favoring leading out that right leg. Another shot from Zillmer, almost maybe more of a snap from Snyder. Back to that front headlock position. 17 seconds to go. Snyder has this match all but won. 10 seconds remaining as he fakes once more.
Look, just relentless pressure. Short time left where most guys would just pack it in and say, I've won it. He's looking for the continuous point score so he can get to the tech fall.
And that's gonna do it. 8-0 final. Kyle Snyder, a dominant win here at 97 kilograms. A match away from his 11th straight world title. We're gonna take a look at how Kyle was able to get that win. Just a dominant from start to finish. Zillmer was never really close there.
And yeah, he had an upright stance, but his fakes proved really effective, but also his leg defense. Something we didn't talk about enough here is look at how he gets to the chest wrap, weighing heavy with his stance, movement, and just continuous pressure. This is wearing on him, but when he got back up to his feet, lots of fakes, got to his ankle pick, also to his underhook, drove him out of bounds, and really just a very workman-like finish, 8-0 there. So Zillmer's typically the guy that we recognize for upper body work, but great job by Snyder.
And when we come back, 65 kilograms, Joey McKenna versus Real Woods.
Men's freestyle, 65 kilograms, wearing the red, representing Cowboy RTC and Titan Mercury Wrestling Club, Joey McKenna.